My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC Vegas 32, we have Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell. Julio Arce, 16-4 overall, 3-2 in his last five, coming off a loss. Andre Ewell, 17-7, 3-2 in his last five, also coming off of a loss. This is another, this is an interesting fight for sure, because Andre Ewell is an absolute giant for this weight class. He's not the thickest dude in the world, but he's incredibly huge for this weight class. Julio Arce, high volume guy. He is coming off of a 2-year layoff. Those are always giant questions, but coming off a 2-year layoff, he has good striking defense and very, very good striker with his hands and his feet. He mixes in his boxing and his kicks low, high. He mixes that on really well, and he moves really well, which is why he's not hit very often. He has a very low, if you dig into the stats, he has a very low hit ratio. He puts out more than he takes for sure. He does have cardio, and this should be a pretty straightforward win for him. He can grapple if he needs to. Andre Ewell, absolutely huge. He's very long for this weight class. He does have cardio issues, and that's because he's tremendous for this weight class. He's incredibly athletic. He has very good boxing. He's very fast. He also has good movement. Cardio is by far his number one issue. He can't grapple, but that may not be a factor here. I don't think Julio's going to grapple unless he's getting touched up. So I know Andre Ewell, I think this line is already starting to move. People love him in this underdog spot, and I could sort of understand why. He's almost a 2-1 underdog. He's very big, very athletic, very good boxer. Cardio is a problem here, and I think that will be his demise in this fight. But what do you think? Fix your lights and then tell me what you think.
Do what?
Your lights are going crazy. I was just messing with you. What do you think?
It's the TV. It's my newly mounted TV. So when the commercials come on, it flips back and forth. So it's big. It's 75, 78 inches, something like that. So
yeah, that room's not even 7, 8 inches wide.
Yeah, Andre Ewell. I'm in that camp of I love Andre Ewell. I don't love him in this fight. Julio, you mentioned that Ewell is a bigger guy. Julio is actually coming down in weight. He's had that layoff, but he's actually coming. He's usually a featherweight guy coming down to bantamweight. So Andre won't be as big as he normally is against the bantamweights. Julio is a Golden Gloves champ, so I don't think Andre is going to outbox him. His last two losses are split decision losses, so it's not like he's getting beat up. Those are close though, because those could have went either way. He's never been KO'd, which I think would be Andre's only way to victory. And if you've never been KO'd after 20 fights, there's a good chance you probably aren't getting KO'd. Like you mentioned, the head movement, he is a boxing champ. So I do want to ask you, there was this one that there was an old grappling match I was watching, him versus Shane Burgos, because I wanted to see, that name caught my eye because we love Shane Burgos, and I wanted to see how good his grappling was. They were doing like some wild, like just have fun grappling that I've never seen before, where they were just tumbling over each other. And then one would like kind of submit and then they roll out of it. I've never seen that before in my life. And it was the most beautiful.
Was there like was there a referee, or they were just drilling?
No, it was like, it was at a tournament and stuff. And there was a ref, but it's like, you could tell they weren't trying. They were having fun. Yeah. But it was like they would roll, one would roll and like start working a submission. Then they would like let them roll out of it. They're literally just like in one ball, just moving as one. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it was a wrestling match for Shane Burgos. We love Shane Burgos. So he definitely can if he needs to, but I think he's going to have no issues with Andre in this fight. And that's why Julio is in my lineup.
Oh, I didn't go that far. Julio is my pick, and bet wise, I think Andre Ewell 3.5 is a decent bet. I just talked through what that is. You basically buy one single round on the judges' scorecards, so you can lose. You buy 3.5 points on the judges' scorecards, so you can lose 2 rounds as long as your fighter wins 1 round. You win your bet. You're only going to find that at WeWantPicks.com/bet. I think he can take the first round when he's fresh and he's long and the range is trying to get figured out. He's super fast. I think he can win the first round. And Julio's been out for 2 years. I think the first round, there's going to be some adjustment periods. It's going to be a little tricky for him to get in there, find the distance, gauge it. The first round, Andre Ewell should win. Then he'll fade. Julio will hit a rhythm, win the next 2 rounds, but I don't see Andre getting put out. So I love that 3.5 bet here. It's not dropped yet, but as soon as it is, I will probably hit. I didn't touch it for DraftKings, but you definitely did. Monkey knife fight. Oh, man, is this another more?
I would say so. It's going to be a pure boxing match. Julio's never been knocked out, and he doesn't really have like big knockout power. So I would say it's probably a more.
Yeah, I think more is the play here. I would agree with that. I mean, that's not the highest. It's a high line, but it's not crazy for a couple of smaller dudes. So either way, weonpicks.com/MKF if you want to triple your money.